Now I see, now there is no any guest. So already I think I entered them. Yes, sir, please start.
Yeah. Okay. So I welcome all of you to today's session. Um we have already started last time dealing with the Tatpurusha section, and we'll continue with that with the Dvitiya Tatpurusha. And I invite Subhate to start her lecture today. But before that, just one announcement I would like to make and share with you. This is important for basically for Marathi speaking and those who understand Marathi. On 26th of May, that is on Wednesday, we'll be having a special lecture on the occasion of Buddha Purnima by Dr. Aruna Dhere on Theragathe Striya. So women in Therigatha, that's the topic on which she will be talking. So we'll share the information with you very soon. I hope today Talat can create the link and send me the details so that I can share all this information with you. And then you're most welcome to join us to celebrate Buddha Purnima on 26th of May at 4:30 p.m. India time. So just this information, with this information, now I would like to request Professor Bhate to start her lecture today. Thank you.
Okay, so before that, I would like to ask Talat whether everything from my side is okay.
Yes, ma'am. Now perfect. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so hello everybody. Today we will be reading the Sutra number 28, Kalaha. The context, as Mahesh already told you, is Tatpurusha, and we are in the middle of Dvitiya Tatpurusha. So Kalaha Dvitiya Tena iti vartate. कालवाचिनः शब्दाः द्वितीयान्ताः क्तान्तेन सह समस्यन्ते विभाषा तत्पुरुषश्च समासो भवति. So the word kalaha is not to be taken in swarupa grahana. It is artha grahana, and therefore he says words denoting time, kalavachana shabdaha, ending in the accusative, are compounded with a word ending in the suffix kto optionally, and that samasa is called tatpurusha. Anatyanta sanyogartham vachanam. This statement is meant for anatyanta sanyoga. In order to understand what is anatyanta sanyoga, you need to understand what is atyanta sanyoga. And this particular statement implies or rather presupposes the existence of the rule together with the next rule, that is atyanta sanyoga. So I think we should read the next Sutra 29 first. That will save me repetition. And then we come back to this rule Kalaha. So let us go to 29. Atyanta Sanyogecho. Kalaha iti vartate ktena iti nivrittam. So here the word ktena is no more continued. And here he explains what is Atyanta Sanyoga. Atyanta Sanyogaha Kritsna Sanyogaha Kalasya Svena Sambandhina Vyaktihi. So Kritsna Sanyoga means complete conjunction, close proximity or complete coverage or junction. So when an object is connected with another object without leaving any gap, any intervention, then that is Atyanta Sanyoga. So in case of time, when a time is connected with any object wholly without leaving any gap, then that is called Atyanta Sanyoga. In case of time, there is a gap only in terms of intervention of time. So what is to be understood from the word Atyanta Sanyoga in the context of Kala is continuity, non-stop action without any break. That is the meaning of Atyanta Sanyoga in the context of Kala. So Kalavachana Shabdaha Dvitiyantaha Atyanta Sanyoge Gamyamane Supasah Samasyante Vibhasha Tatpurusha Samaso Bhavati. So a word denoting time in the accusative is connected with another Samartha Sup when closest conjunction without any break is to be understood. And the example is Muhurtam Sukham, Muhurta Sukha. So Muhurta, according to these astrological calculations, Muhurta stands for 48 minutes. And there are about 30 Muhurtas in a day, they say. So Muhurtam Sukham, for the time being, we translate Muhurta as movement, or we will return it as Muhurta. So happiness continuously for a Muhurta, and that is Muhurta Sukha. And then we have Sarvaratra Kalyani. Sarvaratra Kalyani, something feminine, of course, and that we have to find out what that feminine is, which is auspicious Kalyani for the whole night continuously. So there is not a single inauspicious movement during the night. Or Sarvaratra Shobhana, which is something which is beautiful the whole night. This is the literal meaning. I really don't know in which context these terms are used, but this Kalyani appears to be from the astrological context. So maybe there is some star in the sky, and that star is perhaps supposed to be auspicious for the whole of the night. And in the context of Shobhana, it could be either some star or maybe Chandrakala, digit of the moon. So it looks beautiful throughout the night, something like that. So Sarvaratra Kalyani and Murta Sukha are the examples of Atyanta Sanyoge Kala. I remember we have, when we studied Siddhanta Kaumudi, perhaps the example that was given was for this Dvitiya, of course. Atyanta Sanyoge Dvitiya is a rule which teaches the use of the accusative in connection with Kala when there is Atyanta Sanyoga. And the expression or the example is Masam Adite. So he studies continuously for one whole month. So in this second rule, we have seen how Kala is connected with any Samartha Subanta when Atyanta Sanyoga is to be communicated. Whereas now we come back to 28, and now we understand the meaning of Anatyanta Sanyoga. So this rule is separately stated apart from 29 in order to cover all the cases of Anatyanta Sanyoga, cases where there is no close conjunction, there is no continuous connection. This is what is understood from the word Anatyanta Sanyoga. Anatyanta Sanyogartham Vachanam. And then he says, Kalaha iti na swarupa vidhi, as I already explained. It is not Swamrupam Shabdasya, that is to be understood from the word Kalaha. It's not the word Kala, but the meanings of the word Kala. And then he gives the example. Shan Muhurtaha Characharaha. ते कदाचित अहर गच्छन्ति कदाचित रात्रिम. This is from Khagola Shastra again, and there is a tippani we find in the book of Mahabhashya together with Pradipa and Udyota. This tippani is given by the editors, and this tippani reads Trimshan muhurtatmake ahoratre shan muhurtaha characharaha bhavanti. So if a complete day is of 24 hours, in terms of muhurta, it comes to 30 muhurtas. Trimshat muhurta. Trimshat muhurtatmake kale. So as I told you, each and every muhurta stands for 48 minutes. So it comes to roughly 30 muhurtas. And among these 30 muhurtas, he says, Shan muhurtaha characharaha bhavanti. There are 6 muhurtas which are moving, charachara. They are not steady. Te uttarayane ahar gachanti, dakshinaayane cha ratrim. So in the uttarayana period of 6 months, they go to the daytime, and in dakshinayana season or period, they go to the night time. So these 6 muhurtas, I think they come in between day and night, somewhere between day and night, and they shift sometimes towards day and sometimes means they shift towards day during Uttarayana, and they shift towards Ratri during Dakshinayana, and therefore we have Ratri is larger in Dakshinayana, whereas day is longer in Uttarayana. And then Kayeta this says Tataha Shadbhihi Muhurtaihi Anno Ratrescha Nasti Atyanta Sanyoga. So even if otherwise the whole night or the whole day, they are connected with the other muhurtas. These are the 6 muhurtas which move either towards Ratri or towards Dina, and therefore there is no Atyanta Sanyoga because of their being unsteady. And therefore they have chosen this example of Anatyanta Sanyoge Kalaha. So he says, Shan Muhurtaha Characharaha Te Kadachid Ahar Gachanti Kadachit Ratrim. And thus he explains, Ahar Atisrutaha Kalaha. And Ratri Atisrutaha Ahar Atisrutaha Muhurtaha Ahas Sankrantaha. And Ratri Atisruta Muhurtaha Ratri Sankrantaha. So Atisrutaha, they have crossed the day and they have crossed the night. Ahar Atisrutaha Muhurtaha Ahas Sankrantaha, and Ratri Atisruta Muhurtaha Ratri Sankrantaha. So this is a samasa of Kala with a Samartha Subanta, even when Atyanta Sanyoga is not there. And moreover, the difference between 28 and 29 is that in 28 we have Tena continued, whereas it is continued in the next. And therefore we have Samasa with the Ktanta Atisruta. Then further, Masa Pramitas Chandramaha. Chandramaha, moon, Masam Pramitaha, started to measure the month. So it must be the moon of the first day of moonlight fortnight. Pratipada. It must be that day. So it means the moon has started measuring the month with Pratipada. This word Pramitaha is a Ktanta, as I refer to one sutra according to which the suffix ta is added to a root in the sense of kartru, and that is adikarmanik taha kartaricho. So Pramitaha means Pramitavan. So here Pramitaha, this suffix ta is used in the sense of kartru. And the meaning is Adi Karman started doing something. Therefore, the meaning is Masam Pramatum Arabthaha Masa Pramitaha Chandramaha Ityarthaha. So we have seen both 28 and 29. I don't think I have left anything in either of these gurus. Okay, but if you still have any problem, you can straight away ask me. So I move to the next. Tritiya tatkritarthena gunavachanena. So now we are in Tritiya tatpurush. Supsupa iti vartate. Tasya visheshanam etat tritiya. It's okay. It's very, very simple. Why the authors of Kashika feel it necessary to explain? I don't understand. In the previous sutras, they didn't say anything about it. Tasya visheshanam etat tritiya. When there was Ditya, they did not explain anything. Doesn't matter. Tutiyantam subantam gunavachanena arthashabdena cha saha samasyate tatpurushascha samaso bhavati. Tritiya tatkrutarthena gunavachanena. The meaning of the rule is only partially given in this sentence, and the other half he will explain in the next line. But let us try to understand this meaning. Subanta, ending in the instrumental, is compounded with a word conveying guna vachana, literally meaning some property, guna vachana, denoting a property, and finally it means an adjective, a word which stands for a quality or a property. Artha shabdena cha. So there are two different statements. One statement is a subanta ending in the instrumental is compounded with an adjective. Roughly, I say adjective. It is further specified. So it is compounded with an adjective is one statement, and the second statement is a word in the instrumental is compounded with the word artha. So here arthena in the sutra is swarupa grahana, and tatkruta is again artha grahana. Tatkruta is explained further, and that we will read in a very short. Artha here doesn't mean meaning. It means purpose, object, wish, etc. The phrasing of this rule seems to be rather strange. Tatkrutarthena. It should have been Tritiya Tatkrutartharthena, something like that. Or then Tatkritena and then Arthena should have been a separate sutra. Instead of this long phrasing, like Tatkritena Gunavachanena Arthena Chu. And if this phrasing would have been accepted by Panini, then he would have been forced to make it into two rules, because he does not separately mention two karyans in one and the same rule unless they have an abheda sambandha. So tritiya tatkrutena gunavachanena and arthena cha. These are the two rules which are compressed into one in this rule 30. This is a very, very general way of composing sutras, not only found in Panini's sutras, but even in other sutras also you can, like Shrauta sutras and Dharma sutras and other kinds of sutras also you will find similar examples where such two phrases are compressed together in a very vague manner, and they simply don't bother about the meaning, assuming that the meaning will be made clear by the commentators or by the teachers. So, Kidrushena Gunavachanena, what kind of Gunavachana? Tat Krutena, Tad Artha Krutena. So, Tat Krutam iti Arthaha Yasya Tadrushena Gunavachana. But then Artha does not really serve any purpose here in this case. Tat Krutena Gunavachanena actually is enough to convey the meaning. So, Trutiyantartha Krutena Gunavachanena. So, Gunavachana, that particular property which is caused, Krutena, caused by the object which is conveyed by the word in the instrument. This much is the meaning of Tad Artha Krutena. Example will of course make the whole thing clear. So, Trutiyantartha Krutena iti yavat. Shankulaya Khandaha, Shankula Khandaha. Perhaps we have already seen this example, maybe not in this class, I'm not sure. Shankulaya Khandaha, Shankula Khandaha. Khanda here literally means a piece, but in this particular compound, it does not just convey the meaning piece, but it conveys Kruta Khandavan. So the meaning of Matuk is also understood there, and Nyasa on this particular expression says Khanda, and then also the next example is Kirina Kanaha Kirikana. We will come to that, but here the comment first. Atra Khanda Kana Shabdo Khandane Nimilane Cha Kriya Rupa Panne Gune Vartitva Paschat Matub Lopad Abhedopacharadva Tadvati Dravye Vartete iti Gunavachana. So he further explains the meaning of Gunavachana by saying that the word does not convey, the word which is a Gunavachana does not convey Guna only. Gunam Uktva Dravyam Aha, says Bhashyakara on the same rule. Yo hi Gunam Uktva Dravyam Aha, Saha Gunavachana. Kaha Gunavachana? Bhashyakara says, Yo hi Dravyam Gunam Uktva Dravyam Aha. So finally the word doesn't stand for Guna, but it stands for Guna Yukta Dravya or Gunavad Dravya. Therefore, Khanda means Kruta Khandavan. So Shankula Khandaha is an adjective of Devadattaha. Shankula Khandaha Devadattaha means Shankulaya Kruta Khandavan Devadattaha. So one who made a piece with a knife. So Devadatta or somebody who has cut a piece with a knife or snippers, whatever. It's a very strange construction, and it is only with the help of these commentaries that we can understand this meaning of Khanda. Otherwise, Shankula Khanda simply means piece with the help of knife. Piece cut with the help of knife. Shankulaya Krutaha Khandaha Shankula Khandaha. But that is not the meaning understood traditionally. Then the second example is Kirina Kanaha. Kirina Kanaha, Kiri Kanaha. So Kiri is a kind of a eye disease. And Kana literally means one-eyed. So it means one who has lost one eye because of this disease, which they also called a spot in the eye or a cloud in the eye. So he Kanav is some person who has become one-eyed because of Kiri. I think somewhere else perhaps it is in the Chand, right? Instead of Kiri, it is Giri. And then Giri also stands for some eye disease, I think. Well, later on we'll see that. But perhaps I think I have read it also in some commentary like Siddhanta Kaumudi. Giri and Kiri, there is some confusion. Kirina Kanaha, Kiri Kanaha. So in both these cases, what you find is that there is a relation of Tatkritarthatva. So Khandatvam is caused by Shankula. So there is a cause-effect relationship. Similarly, Kanatvam is caused by this Kiri, spot in the eye. And therefore this samasa according to Tatkrutena. And now he gives you an example of Artha Shabdena samasa. And as I said, Artha here means purpose, motive, or some such thing, or even wish. So Dhanyena Artha, Dhanya Artha means desire for grain, or somebody comes at door and says Dhanyartha vartate, so I have a purpose with grain, something like that. Dhanyena Artha, Dhanyartha. Tat krutena itikim. Akshana Kanaha. Why is this condition mentioned here? Tat krutena. Tat krutena tritiyantartha krutena. Caused by that means that object which is conveyed by the word in the instrumental. Akshana Kanaha. So Akshana Hetuna Kanaha, Akshana Lakshanena Kanaha. It means he is one-eyed, or he is. Kana also means blind. He is blind by one eye. But that is not, actually, there is no cause and effect relationship. Kanatva is not caused by the eye. And therefore, Tatkruta Sambandha is absent here, Akshana Kanaha. And therefore, there is no compounding. Gunavachanena itikim. Why is this condition, Gunavachana, mentioned in the rule? Gobhihi vapavan. Vapa means fat or marrow. So one who is fat is because of go, or because of cows. And how is it possible? Yeah, well, we can understand. He drinks a lot of milk and curds and all milk products, ghee. And this is how he has put on a lot of fat on his body. So Gobhihi Vapavan, there is certainly cause-effect relation here. But Vapavan is not a Guna Vachana, because it doesn't fit in the definition of Guna Vachana as stated by Bhashya. Guna Muktva Yahadravyamaho. So first of all, it has to convey some Guna. What it conveys here is Vapa. And Vapa is not a Guna. For instance, Shukla, we have seen it even earlier. All these words conveying color, Shukla, Krishna. So they convey Guna first, and then when we use them as adjectives of different objects, like Shukla Pataha, Shukla Shati, then they convey Dravya. So Gunam Uktva Yaha Dravyam Ahu. Tadrusham Gunavachanatvam Vapavan Ityasmin Shabde Nasti Ataha Atra Samasaha Nabhavati. 31. Purva Sadrusha Samonartha Kalaha Nipuna Mishra Lakshnaihi. Tritiya continues. Purva Sadrusha Sama Unartha Kalaha Nipuna Mishra Shlakshna Etaisah Tritiyantam Samasyate Tatpurushascha Samaso Bhavati. So Subanta ending in the instrumental case is compounded with all these words, Pura Sadrusha, etc. And the samasa is called Tatpurusha. Asmadeva Vachanat Purvadibhir Yoge Trutiya Bhavati Etava Drashtavya. So every time the commentator has to explain or justify the case, if there is any rule in Panini's grammar which can justify the case. So here, if Trutiya is to be added to Purva with some Samartha word, there has to be some rule in the Ashtadhyayi to explain it, and we don't find any rule. And therefore he says, Asmadeva Vachanat. So some kind of a Samarthya is invoked in this rule. And we have seen quite often Samarthya is invoked. And thus he says, because of the fact that Panini mentions these words and teaches a compound of these words ending in instrumental, they must be taking instrumental. So Panini has intended their use in the instrumental along with the Samartha. Here it is Samartha, it's just any Samartha word, not Tanta, etc. Yeah. So we have examples now. So this Tritiya can be explained either on the basis of Samarthya, as we saw now, or he says Hetava Drashta. So all these words can be taken to mean or convey Hetu, cause, of the other word with which they are compounded. So either Samarthya or Hetu explain the instrumental. Purva. Masena Purvaha, Masa Purvaha. So previous by 1 month. We have earlier seen this Vartika, Prakrityadibhya Upasankhyanam. Can we perhaps take care, can we see that this Vartika can take care of all these expressions? Purva, Sadrusha, Samonartha, I don't know. Because Prakrityadibhya Upasankhanam, I think, is an Akruti Gana. And this is an example of Upapad Vibhakti, Upapada Tritiya. Why it is not included, I don't know. Masena Purvaha, Masa Purvaha, Samvatsara Purvaha, someone preceding or previous or earlier or prior or anterior by 1 month. Sadrusha, Matra Sadrusha, Matru Sadrusha, Pitra Sadrusha, Pitru Sadrusha, similar to mother, similar to father. Samaha, Matru Samaha, Pitru Samaha. Like mother, like father. Unartha again is not Samrupam. Any word which conveys the meaning of the word una. And una means less, deficient, wanting in something. So whatever conveys this meaning less can be taken here as the Purvapada. Mashena, Mashena, Unam, Mashonam. Masha is a kind of a weight, and it also refers to a coin, denotes a coin. This Masha weight is a very small weight, I think, used only in weighing objects like gold, silver, perhaps, not silver even, gold. So Mashonam can mean either less by 1 Masha weight or less by 1 coin. So instead of even giving 100 rupees, he gives 99 rupees. So that will also be less by 1 coin Mashonam. Or instead of weighing 100 grams, it weighs only 99 grams gold. Karshapanonam. Karshapana is also another kind of weight and also a coin in both these cases. Masha Vikalam, Karshapana Vikalam, they mean again the same thing. Vikala is synonymous with Poon. Kalaha, Asikalaha, Vakkalaha. Fight with swords and fight with words. Asina Kalaha, Vacha Kalaha. Nipuna. Vag Nipunaha, Achara Nipunaha. I think the better way of making a samasa would be Saptami. Vachi Nipunaha, they say. Achare Nipunaha. So why Vacha Nipunaha and Achare Nipunaha, I don't understand. But generally in Sanskrit literature, they use Saptami in case of the word Nipuna or even in its synonyms. Vachi Nipunaha. And here it is Vacha Nipunaha and Achare Nipunaha. Another thing to be noted about this word Vag Nipunaha is that it appears to be very appears very strange to the ears when we hear it Vag Nipunaha. Actually, we are expecting Vang Nipunaha here. But then this rule which teaches this Anunasika of Vach into Vang is optional. Yaro Anunasike Anunasiko Va. And therefore, it can either be Vag, Vakka becomes Vag, or Vang. So Vang Nipunaha is also possible. Achara, code of conduct or custom. So he is quite skilled in the code of conduct, or he is quite expert in following customs. Mishra, Buddha Mishra and Tila Mishra mixed with jaggery. So maybe this is a reference to some eatable, and also Tila Mishraha mixed with sesame. Shlakshana, Achara Shlakshanaha, soft Acharena Shlakshanaha. So here also perhaps the better expression would be Achare Shlakshanaha. Soft or gentle in his demeanor or in his behavior. So having a very polished manner. Achara Shlakshanaha. Purvadishu avarasya upasankhyanam. So Vartikakara adds one more word in this list of Purva, etc. And that word is avara. So Masen avaraha, Masa avaraha. Again, avara means younger, later, kinder, posterior. So Masa avara is a younger brother or a younger child. So we move to the next tool. Kartru karane kruta bahulam. तृतीया इति वर्तते. कर्तरी करणे च या तृतीया तदन्तं कृदन्तेन सह समस्यते बहुलम. That is very interesting. Generally, mostly, not without exception, but there are many exceptions. An instrumental, either in the sense of agent or in the sense of karana, that is sadhana, instrument again, is compounded with a krudanta. So there are two specific conditions. This instrumental must be in the sense of kartu or karana, and that with which it is compounded must be a krudanta, and further restrictions will be laid down, and that we will see later. तत्पुरुषस्य समासो भवति. सर्वोपाधि व्यभिचारार्थम बहुलग्रहणम. Bahulagrahana is always meant for व्यभिचार of all kinds. Vyabhichara is violation, deviation, departure from the normal. That is always the function, purpose of Bahula. And all of you know this lakshana of bahula, kvachit pravrutti, kvachid apravrutti, kvachid vivasha, kvachid anya deva, vidher vidhanam bahudha samiksha, chaturvidham bahulakam vadanti. So bahula means that the particular rule holds in some cases. It doesn't hold in some other cases, doesn't at all hold in some other cases. And the third option is it optionally holds in some cases. So there is the rule is followed and optionally the rule is not followed. And therefore he says, Sarva Upadhi Vyabhicharartham. So Upadhi means it is interpreted also as fault, but here it means all kinds of conditions. So Bahula Grahan actually violates all conditions laid down in the rule. All nimittas. And therefore commentator says avyapti ativyapti pariharartham, this Bahula Grahan. Because if the word Bahulam is not given in the rule, then that the rule will be accused of these two faults. Or even third one, avyapti, ativyapti and asambhava also. Avyapti, the rule is not found to be applied in some cases. Ativyapti, the rule is found to be applied beyond the conditions in some cases. And asambhava, the rule is not at all followed. So avyapti, ativyapti, pariharartham. So in order to violate these faults, the word bahula is specifically mentioned, and thus it covers all kinds of irregularities. That is a function of bahula. Rayena samasaha bhavati ityartha. So kartari ahina hataha. So he was struck by a snake, or even hata can mean he was killed by a snake. Ahihataha. So here it is an example of kartari tritiya. Karane tritiya nakhaihi nirbhinnaha nakha nirbhinnaha. He was cut asunder, or he was torn, he was split by nails, by Narasimha, Hiranyakashipu, Nakhair nirbhinnaha. Then Parashuna chinnaha. Chinnaha again cut by Parashu and axe. Parashu chinnaha. So these are the three legitimate examples of this Kartru Karane Krita Bahulam, of this particular Tritiya Samasa. And now he gives you Padakritya. Kartru Karane iti kim Bhikshabhihi Ushitaha. So Tritiya does not necessarily convey Kartru or Karana. It is used also in other meanings like Hetu. And sometimes it is also used just Upapade. But you know, the rule Kartru Karanayos Tritiya is the most primary rule teaching Tritiya. Bhikshabhihi Ushitaha, in this example, Bhikshabhihi, this Tritiya conveys Hetu. Bhikshabhihi Hetuna Ushitaha, he stayed here. He is staying at a particular place for the purpose of begging alms. Bhikshabhihi Ushitaha. Bahula Grahanam kim Datrena Dhanyam Lunavan. Actually, Dhanyam need not be here. Datrena Lunavan is enough. So somebody cut the grain with a sickle, Datra. Dhanyam Lunavan, cut the grain. So we can have a compound here by this rule as Datra Lunavan. But because of the Bahula Grahana, there is no compounding in the sense that it is not found in the usage. So whatever is not found in the usage is eliminated from this rule with the help of Bahula. Interestingly, Patanjali gives the other example, Datra Lunaha. So we can have Datra Lunaha, but not Datra Lunavan. Similarly, we can have parashuchinnaha, but not parashuna chinnavan. And then further he says, iha samaso na bhavati. So this is an example of one type of bahula grahana, that's satyapi nimitte samasaha na bhavati. Kartrukaranayoho tritiya is there, but even then there is no samas. And then there is another example of another type of bahula grahana, and that is pada harakaha and gale chopaka. Very strange constructions. We cannot understand these unless we have some commentaries explaining them. So I have to, of course, take help of Nyasa and Padamanjari. And these commentaries explain pada haraka as meaning padabhyam hriyate. And further, padabhyam iti panchami chaturthi va. So padabhyam, though it appears to be tritiya dvivachana, it is not so. It is panchami dvivachana or chaturthi dvivachana. And riyate harakaha is again doesn't convey kartu. It conveys karman here. Riyate. Riyate tat. That which is carried padabhyam either from the feet, that which is carried away from the feet, or which is carried away for the feet, 2 feet of course. So haraka is explained as harakaha iti prutyalyuto bahulam iti karmani nul. And thus literally it means that which is carried away or the feet or from the feet. And in one commentary I found a reference to manjira. How do you translate manjira in English? These feet ornaments? I don't remember. Or even you can say sandals. Sandals which are...
Do you mean anklets? I mean...
anklets, yes. Thank you. So anklets which are carried towards the feet. So that is, but padaharaka kaha? That I cannot understand. I mean, how can it be used in a sentence? If it refers to if it refers to anklets. Padabhyam hriyate iti padaharaka. And hriyate is a karmani verb. Haraka is also a karmani krudanta. So literally padaharaka means that which is carried for the feet. And in that case, padaharaka itself would mean either anklet or sandals. But unless we find an attested usage, we cannot say anything about it. I mean, this much information I can give you about this word padaharaka. And we can say that there are 2 kinds of irregularities. Purvapada is not in Tritiya, and Uttarapada is Krudanta, but it's neither Kartari nor Karmani. This is about Padaharaka. And then we come to the next, Gale Chopakaha. And here Nyasa Padamanjari, they say, Chupa Mandayam Gatau. Chupa means going slowly. And then he says, Gale Chupyate. Purvavadeva null. So Chupyate, that means which is passed slowly, which is being thrown or flown down the throat, the leg, slowly. So which is slowly swallowed through the throat. That is Gale Chopaka. Chopaka apparently is a Kartru form, but no, it is a Karmani form. And Gale, this Aluk Samasa is also something irregular, but commentators, they cite Panini's rule, Tatpurushe Kruti Bahulam again. So Bahulyat Atra Saptamyaha Aluk Gale Chopaka. So in this case again, Gale Chopaka, we have two irregularities. There is no Tritiya in the Purvapada. On the contrary, we have locative, Saptami. And further, there is a Krudanta, but not neither in Kartru nor in Karana. So, and even then we have the compound, and this compound, why it is given as an example here of Bahula Grahana, and why it is not stated as just Sup-Supa Samasa is not clear to me. Yes, Nagesha explains this. I found it in Uddhota. Nagesha says, Padayoho Riyamana Manjiradhyapekshaya Avadhitvena Apadanat. Padabhyam Riyate. So it is Manjira, anklet. It is mentioned here. And Padabhyam is Apadane Panchami, he says. So there is some kind of avadhi between Pada and Manjira. Manjira Dyapekshaya Avadhitvena Apadanat. Very difficult to imagine this situation. Anyway, and on Gale Chopaka, again Nagoji Bhatta in his Uddhota says, Gale Mandam Rapaniyaha. So it must be some eatable or some drink which needs to be very slowly flown down the throat. I don't know whether it is a reference to wine or liquor, which is supposed to be not just gulped but sipped, so that it flows through slowly through the throat. Well, I failed to explain it any further. I'm sorry. So, Padaharaka Gale Chopaka iti cha bhavati. And then the next rule. Krutyaihi adhikartha vachani. Stutininda prayuktam adhyaropita arthavachanam adhikartha vachanam. So first he explains the meaning of the word adhikartha vachanam. Adhikasya arthasya vachanam adhikartha vachanam. So literally it means expressing additional meaning. Additional in addition to the original literal meaning. And of course that additional meaning is suggested meaning. It is dhvani, or you can say it is vyanjana. So here is a reference to vyanjana in this sutra. So Panini accepts something over and above Vachyartha. Of course, even in earlier cases, Kshepa, etc., he has certainly tacitly admitted the existence of Vyanjana. But this one is referred to as an explicit reference to Vyanjana. Among the three vrittis, Abhidha, Lakshana, and Vyanjana. So here he says, Kartrukarana, Stuti Ninda Prayuktam Adhyaropita Artha Vachanam. So statement about some meaning which is imposed and which is prayukta, which is prompted by either stuti or ninda. So in short, it means that when praise or censure is to be understood from the expression, and that praise or censure is an additional meaning, adhikartha. So if that is to be conveyed, then only compound takes place. Otherwise, there is no compounding, which suggests that it is a nitya samasa. If we have to understand adhikartha, then it has to be a compound. So there is some kind of an import of the speaker which is conveyed along with the literal meaning. Kartrukaranayoho tritiya tadantam subantam. Kartrukaranayoho ya tritiya tadantam subantam कृत्यैहि सह समस्यते अधिकार्थ वचने गम्यमाने तत्पुरुषश्च समासो भवति. I don't need to explain any one of these words. It's very simple. Karta Kakapeya Nadi. So Kartari Tritiya. Kakapeya. Kakena Peya. Kakapeya. So Peya here is a Krutya. You know, Krutya is a subcategory of Krut suffixes. And they always convey either bhava or karma. Peya means to be drunk. So kakena peya kakapeya nadi. This samasa is explained, or rather the adhikartha is explained in the commentaries in both the ways, stuti and nenda. So let me read out this explanation from Padamanjari. Evam nama purnatoya nadi yat tatasthaihi kakaihi api shakya patum. So the river is so full of water. Purnatoya. It is so over flooded that even the why crows always, I don't know. Even the crows just sitting on the banks, they can drink its water. So they don't need to stoop down to take water from the flow of the from the current of the river. Evam nama purnatoya nadi yat tatastaihi kakaihi api shakya patum. So this is obviously stuti. So it's full of water. And then they say evam nama alpatoya nadi yat kakaihi api shakya patum. So why they say kakaihi api, I don't know. That there is such a small quantity of water in this river. Particularly in summer, we find it at many places in our country, that just crows can take water, drink water from it. But he says kakaihi api shakyapat. Even is not a correct expression. I think it should be kakaihi eva shakyapatum. But anyway, they have mentioned kakaihi api. Astu. So it appears that commentators, they want to take each and every example as denoting both stuti and ninda. It is not necessary that it should convey both. Perhaps kakapeya might convey just stuti or ninda. We really don't know what usage where it appeared, and therefore temporarily we have to accept both the interpretations. And then the next example is shvaleshyaha. Shvaleshyaha, quite similar to kakapeya, that which can be licked by a dog. Evam nama asannatoyah kupah yat tatasthaihi api shvabhihi chakyah ledum. So earlier it was nadi and now it is the well. So the well is so full of water that the dogs which are standing there on the bank on the bank of the well, shall we call it a bank? I don't know. They can just lick the water. And this is tuti, and ninda is evam nama ashuchihi kupa yat jalam shvanaha eva ledum arhanti. Now here it is not shvanaha api, but shvanaha eva. So the water of this kupa is so impure that only dogs can drink it. So both stuti and ninda is conveyed by this compound shvaleshyaha. Karanam. So now karane tritiya. Bashpachedyani trunani. The grass which can be cut with the help of bashpa, and bashpa is morning dew, frost, because that stands on the grass leaf. So this can be its stuti. It is so tender, so soft that even a small dew drop can cut it. And commentary gives ninda also. Evam nama kvathitani trunani yad bashpenapi chidyante. So the grass is hot, kvathita, almost boiled in the heat. So it is so hot, so boiled that it can be cut even by steam, bashpa. I don't know what exactly is meant by them. Well, some of these examples are interpreted differently in Siddhanta Kaumudi. We are not going into that. This is just my observation. Kantaka sancheyaha odanaha. Kantaka is a thorn. Odana, rice, cooked rice. So if we have to understand stuti, rice is cooked so soft and of course moist that it can be collected on a thorn or a pointed stick. So it can stand on the edge of a thorn, which is very, very sharp. Well, you can, Kantaka also can be taken to mean fork or Japanese sticks even. But my experience now, my Japanese friends can bear me out. My experience is that in Japan, usually they eat very sticky rice. I have tasted that rice in sushi and also served in a separate platter. But it was very sticky. Also in China, it was sticky. So not separate grains there. But here he refers to, I think, separate grains of rice, perhaps. No, sorry. It is so soft and it is so moist. So it is Japanese style rice, so sticky that it can be collected on a thorn or a fork or a pointed stick. And on the other hand, I mean, if you want to convey censure, it is so less that it can be gathered, collected at a thorn. Now, just imagine a picture of somebody leaving some grains of rice on a platter in a restaurant, and that rice, that very little, amount of grains thrown or left in the platter, they can be collected with a fork. So, evam nama alpaha odanaha yat kantakaihi api sanchetum shakyate. This is ninda. Kantaka sanchayaha odana. Purvasyeva ayam prapanchaha. So this is prapancha generally means elucidation, explanation with the help of example. So this rule is nothing but the further elucidation of Kartrukarane Kruta Bakulam. So Kartrukarane Kruta is a very, very general rule which can take care of all these Kruttehi Adhikartha Vachane also. And therefore he says it is a prapancha. Krutya grahane yanyator grahanam kartavya. Again, there is further restriction in Krut is restricted to Krutya and Krutya is further restricted here to only two suffixes, Yat and Nyat. Whereas we have Tavyat, Tavya, Aniyar also, and Shyay, etc. They are not to be included in the domain of this compound. So he says, Krutya grahane yanyator grahanam kartavyam iham abhut kakaihi patavya iti. So kakaihi patavya is also a correct construction, and perhaps it can also convey either stuti or ninda, but no samasa is allowed in this case because the krutya is avya. It is neither yat nor nyat. So this again is a bahula kind of a thing. Krutyayi adhikartha vachan. This is what you will observe throughout this samasa section. This is also my observation. So, I am really not very happy with samasa and also tadita because of its style of full of variations, and samasa because it doesn't give any, exact picture of compounding. Moreover, if you cast a glance at Sanskrit literature, you will find that there are hundreds of other samasas which are found to be not taken care of by Panini. And there are many, many samasas which can be explained only with the very general rule of supsupa samasa or kevala samasa. And even going beyond that, there are quite a few asamartha samasas which can be explained only with the help of Patanjali's statement, sapekshatvepi gamakatvat. He says gamakatvat, and the later commentator says sapekshatvepi gamakatvat samasa bhavati, like Devadatta Gurukulam. They are quite often used, all these compounds, but they cannot be covered by any one of these statements in Panini's Ashtadhyayi. Moreover, the phrasing is also not really in fitting with Panini's styles. Quite often we find some kind of different, and therefore sometimes I am more inclined to accept H.D. Joshi's hypothesis, though it is not to be. It's not really a very happy hypothesis, but sometimes it has some, there is some point in what he stated, and that is the style is pretty different, and it doesn't come to have it appear to have come from the same pain from which the rest of the Ashtadhyayi came. This is a very, very general and rough observation, needs to be further elaborated, further checked. Yes. So this is a prapancha of Purvasyaiva Ayam Prapancha. So there are, very easily you can formulate compounds like, Madgeyam Ganam or Atithipeyam Jalam or Asichedya Shatrurani. So very, very simple things. These modern Sanskrit poets, they are found to be using all kinds of samasas like this. And if you say that they are not samasas according to Panini, it will be very difficult for them. And they don't always convey adhikartha. Pradeep has recorded a little different view. Stutininda paratva kriyopadanasya karturkarnayoho gaunatvat purvena aprapte anene vidhiyate. Actually, Kayyata records another view, iti kechid ahu. So he says, Purvena aprapte anena sutrena vidhyate. So this is not a Purvasya Prapancha actually. Because Adhikartha Vachana implies that Karturkarane Trutiya here is Gauna, whereas Karturkarane Truta Bahulam refers to this Trutiya which is Pradhana meaning. So Kayyata says, Stutininda Paratvat Kriyopadanasya Karturkaranayoho Gaunatvat Purvena Apraptaha Anena Vidhiyate iti kechida. And then further he says, Anyetu Prapanchartha Vidam Ityahu. तथा च काकपीता नदी इत्यत्र अकृत्यैः अपि अधिकार्थवचने समासो दृश्यते. So even in case of Kakapita Nadi, we can justify this compound by simply by this simple rule Kartur Karane Vrita Bahulam. Kakapita Nadi, and here also we understand Adhikartha vachana. Tatascha nedam niyamartham apitu prapanchartham. So this will is not meant for restriction. Anyway, this is a Kayata's observation, and that also is just a recording opinions of different scholars, which are again based on the usage that was in the literature that was in front of them. So this is about Krutyaihi Adhikartha Vachane. Now the next tool is Annena Vyanjanam. Tritiya iti vartate Vyanjanavachi Tritiyantam Annavachena Subantena Sah Samasyate Vibhasha Tatpurushascha Samaso Bhavati. So there are two different kinds of words. One is Annavachaka and the other one is Vyanjanavachaka. So both the terms Anna and Vyanjana, they are Arthavachaka. They are not to be taken as Swarupa words. So Anna is obviously food, cooked food, and Vyanjana is a taste maker, condiment, sauce, seasoning, whatever that gives relish to the food that we always need when we are eating. So Vyanjana Vachi Trutiyantam. So it should be Vyanjana Tritiyanta and Annavachi should be Prathaman. Subhantena Saha Samasyate Vibhasha Tatpurushasya Samasa Bhavati. Samskaryam Annam Samskarakam Vyanjanam. Samskaryam, that which deserves to be perfected or refined. Samskara. That means if it stands before you as it is, it may not appeal. Unless it is refined by something, then it becomes acceptable. So it is samskarya is anna and samskaraka is vyanjana. So that which brings refinement, that which brings perfection, or that which adds to the taste is vyanjana. These Marathi speaking audience might be knowing that the word vyanjana is used even in Marathi, and particularly in village side, they use the word vanjana. And they say vanjan vada ki kaitari, or he vanjan vadle baga, something like that. So that is which is to be added to bring taste to that. So here we have illustrations as Gudena Mishraha Dhanaha. Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped down. Dadna Upasikta Odanaha Dadyodanaha. So Dadyodana. Dadyodana is a very favorite food of Lord Shri Krishna. Dadyodana Bakshi. Curds and rice. So he says, Dadna Upasikta Odana. This Upasikta is a word which is added in the constituent analysis of this samasa, which is not present in the samasa. It's only Dadi and Odana. So Odana, which is just bland, plain, has no taste at all, is mixed with Dadi, but they don't say mixed because in the next sutra they are going to use this concept of mixing. So here he says Upasiktaha. Upasikta literally means sprinkled. But actually, nobody will eat a rice on which Dadi just sprinkled. It has to be poured in order to bring that taste. But anyway, perhaps they did not find a proper expression for pouring that now. I don't know how to express it in Sanskrit. So Upasikta is okay. Dadna Upasikta Udana Dadyodana and Kshirena Upasikta Udana Kirodana, rice mixed with or rice refined, you can say, perfected with milk. Dadyodana Kshirodana. Vrittau Kriyayaha Antarbhavat Annavyanjanayohu Samvartyam. Now here they have raised a question about samarthya. In the earlier cases, of course, it is understood that samarthya existed. And in most of the cases, it existed because the samasa was with ktanta or with some past participle conveying some action. And you know, the samarthya exists between a subanta and a word conveying an action. Kriyaya sah anvayah. Sarvesham karakanam kriyayam eva anvayah. So if there is a word denoting an action, and if any other word is uh, connected with that word, then there is no question of samarthya. It exists there always. But here we have some examples where two subantas are connected with each other. And in that case, the question of samarthya arises because there is no action. And therefore, he is raising the question. Rather, he is giving the answer, assuming the question that how can there be samarthya between dadhi and odana, dadna, odana. So this samarthya has to be there through the action. So both dadi and odana are connected with some action, and that action is to be understood here, and that is upasiktaha. So he says vrittau, and vritti means, in this context, it means constituent analysis or explanation, elucidation of the compound. We have earlier seen that the word vritti, in its technical sense, of course, this also is a technical sense, but in the well-known technical meaning of vritti, as we have seen, is this integration, vrit tadhita, samasa, sanadyanta, ekasheshaha, panchavrittaya. So these very typical derivatives from the pratipadicas or roots, bases, secondary derivatives as well as primary derivatives, they are called vrittis. Whereas in the compound section, in these commentaries, the word vritti is used in the sense of vigraha vakya. So he says in the vigraha vakya, kriyayaha antarbhavat. Kriya is mentioned, included in the vigraha vakya, only in order to make the meaning explicit. Otherwise, it is implicit in the compound. Vrittau kriyayaha antarbhavat annavyanjanayohu samarthyam. I vaguely remember that the Nayayikas and Mimamsakas also, particularly in the later texts, the texts dealing with semantics, they also deal with this question of semantic connection between two subantas. And they say, if I'm not mistaken, that that kind of relation can be only abheda, like nila bhinnam kamalam. But otherwise, in case of all other relations, they have to be through action, because they are all uh, uh, they are all karakas, and karakas are directly connected with kriya. So through kriya, they are connected with each other. Upasiktaha kaha udanaha. Upasiktaha kena dadna. So dadna upasiktaha and udana upasiktaha. Upasikta is the kriya with which both these words are connected. My feeling about this samarthya is that we have to understand the concept of samarthya as quite comprehensive in the context of Panini's Ashtadhyayi, because Panini himself uses the word samartha in the rule samartha padavidhihi, and also samarthanam pratamadva, that is in the beginning of the Tadhita section. So in both the cases, samarthya means arthanvayitvam, semantic connection between two words. When he says samartha padavidhi, obviously he refers to the semantic connection between two words, assuming that they form a part of a sentence. But that does not mean that they necessarily should be connected through some karak. This through karak, through kriya. So this through kriya connection is only for our clear understanding. But for Panini, it is not necessary. Otherwise, all the whole compound section and the whole Tadhita section will not make any sense. So this is one type of samarthya. This Karaka Kriya relation is one type of samarthya, whereas Subanta relation is another kind of samarthya, which holds in both Samasa and Tadita section. So this is a very, very legitimate kind of samarthya, and such question actually does not should not arise in this context, like Annena Vyanjanam and even otherwise. So wherever we find a semantic connection between two Subantas, they are Samarthas. The only condition is that they must be a part of a sentence. Word. Again, if I remember correctly, even H.D. Joshi in his Samarthan Nika, and you please check it, those of you who have this copy of his Samarthan Nika, in the very beginning, I read it ages ago. That's why very vague memory, but I still remember that page on which he gives these 2-3 kinds of samarthya in the Ashtadhyayi. Even he distinguishes between these types of samarthya. So as far as the compound section is concerned, samarthya exists. It does exist between two subantas. And therefore such questions are irrelevant, and this samarthya we can explain with the help of Vigraha Vakya is yet another question or yet another matter. Bhakshyena Mishríkaranam. Mishríkaranavachi Trutiyantam Bhakshyavatena Subantena Samasyates. Pretty similar with the earlier rule. So here we have only there is one eatable and there is another kind of vyanjan. Some details are different. Mishríkaranavachi Trutiyantam Bhakshyavatena Subantena Samasyate Tatu Shisha Samasa Bhavati. And then he further explains what Bhakshya is. Khara Vishadam Abhyavaharyam Bhakshya. Bhakshya means Abhyavaharya, that is to be eaten, that is to be tasted, taken as food. But it has some specific properties. So it is Khara and Vishada. Khara means literally it means harsh or hard. In the context of food, maybe it means dry, rough or thick, and Vishada means clear or separated, not put together. It is clean. But Vishada also means soft. So either it means both kinds of bhakshya, eatables which are khara as well as Vishada. That means which are rough or hard as well as soft. Tasya samskarakam mishrikarana. Mishrikarana is some mixing agent which puts some adds some refinement. Tasya samskarakam. So the example is gudena mishraha dhanaha gudadhana. Dhana is fried corn or fried grains, and they are mixed with guda, obviously for adding some taste. Gudena mishraha dhanaha gudadhanaha. In Marathi we have guddani also. Then guda pruthukaha. Pruthuka is flattened or puffed rice. That also you know very well. Guda pruthukaha. So this puffed rice mixed with jaggery. Again he says purvo vruttau kriyayaha antarbhavat purvapadoreyohu samarthyam. Chaturthi tadartharth balihita sukharakshitaihi. Now we are in dative tatpurusha. सुप्सुपा इति वर्तते तस्य विशेषणमेतत् चतुर्थी तत् इति सर्वनाम्ना चतुर्थ्यन्तस्य अर्थः परामृश्यते. Now in the rule he says chaturthi tad arthartha. So this tad is explained here as chaturthyartha. So tadartha, artha, bali, hita, sukha and rakshita are the uttarapada components. So now he explains tadartha. In the word tadartha, tat means chaturthyanta and tadartha means chaturthyantartha. So the meaning of the word which is used in the dative. Tasmai idam tadartham. So this is how this tadartha, the compound tadartha is derived. Tasmai idam tadartham. So he explains the also the derivation of the compound tadartha, tasmai idam tadartham. And then he further gives the complete list of these uttarapadas, tadartha, artha, bali, hita, sukha and rakshita. इत्येतैः सह चतुर्थ्यन्तं समस्यते तत्पुरुष तत्पुरुषश्च समासो भवति. Now what is this tadarthartha will be explained with the help of an example. But before that, there is further restriction on tadartha chaturthi, and that is tadarthena prakriti vikara bhave samasoya nishyate. So between the two words or two components of the compound of the chaturthi samasa, there is a prakriti vikara bhava. Prakriti is a source or original form, and vikara is its modification, change or its effect. So this kind of relation is always understood in the tadartha chaturthi samasa. Tadarthena prakriti vikara bhave samasoyam ishyate. So tadartha chaturthi samasa is always restricted to prakriti vikruti bhava. And the example is yupaya daru, yupa daru. Yupa is a sacrificial post, daru is the wood. So wood meant for yupa. So this tadartha implies for the sake of or meant for. So chaturthyantam yad vartate tadartham, for the sake of the word which is used in the chaturthi. Here the word used in the chaturthi is yupo, and daru is meant for the sake of yupo. This is how it is explained. Yupaya daru, yupadaru, kundalaya hiranyam, kundala hiranyam. So hiranya is gold and kundala is earring. Sometimes also in some Sanskrit texts it is also used to convey bracelet. It means bracelet. So anyway, it's some kind of an ornament, and this ornament is made of gold. So kundalaya hiranyam, gold which is meant for kundala, you can say. So there is again prakriti vikruti bhava. Kundala is vikruti and hiranya is prakriti. Similarly, daru is prakriti and yupa is its vikruti. As we have already seen, a special kind of wood is required for making this yupa post. Ihana bhavati randhanaya sthali avahananaya ulukhalam iti. So in both these cases, there is no compounding. Randhanaya sthali. Sthali means a pan, a pot. Randhana is to cooking. So pan for cooking. Randhanaya sthali. No compounding possible. Why? Because there is no prakriti vikruti bhava. When there is a prakriti vikriti bhava, then only samasa takes place. In case of tadartha chaturthi. So randhanarthas thali, no compound, because thali is not prakriti of randhana. Similarly, avahananaya ulukhalam. Ulukhala is a mortar and pestle, or pounding. Avahanana is pounding. So ulukhala is there, it is meant for pounding, is okay, but there is no prakriti vikruti bhava. Ulukhala is not prakriti of avahanana. Chaturthi cha asmadeva jnapakat tadartye bhavati. Since Panini has taught Chaturthi samasa with the meaning tadartya, we have to understand that Panini has intended the use of Chaturthi to convey tadartya. Otherwise, there is no separate rule in Panini's Ashtadhyayi which says tadarthye Chaturthi. On the contrary, there is a later Vartika, not by Vartikakara, perhaps, which says tadarthye Chaturthi Vachya. चतुर्थी च अस्मादेव ज्ञापकात् तादर्थ्ये भवति. अर्थेन नित्य समास वचनम सर्वलिंगता च उत्तव्या. This is a Vartika. So there is a word artha also included in this list. Chaturthi, tadartha, and then comes the word artha. So about that special kind of samasa, he says that this is a nitya samasa. Arthena nitya samasa vachanam. It should be stated that a compound with artha is a nitya samasa, and it is used in all genders. Sarvalingata cha vattavya. In other words, it is used as an adjective. And we have the example Brahmanartham payaha. Brahmanartha yavagu. Brahmanartham. This compound is dissolved as Brahmanaya idam, as we have seen earlier in Kashika. Tasmai idam tadartham. Similarly, here it is analyzed as Brahmanaya idam Brahmanartham, and this is Aswapada Vigraha. This is a characteristic of Nitya Samasa. It is either Avigraha or Aswapada Vigraha. And here we have an example of Aswapada Vigraha because idam does not appear in the compound itself. Brahmanaya idam Brahmanartham payaha, milk or water, whatever, for the sake of the Brahmin, and Brahmanartha yavagoho, gruel, for the Brahmin. Then examples of further words, next words in the list. Bali, Kuberaya Balihi. Bali is offering oblation for this Lord of Wealth, Kubera, mythological deity. Maharaja Balihi, Maharajaya Balihi, offering to the great king. Bohitam, beneficial for the cow, wholesome for the cow. Ashwahitam, also wholesome for the cow, advantageous or useful for the cow, or here horse, Ashwahitam. Sukham, go Sukham. Sukha is defined perhaps in Nyaya as Anukula Vedanam Sukham and Pratikula Vedanam Dukkham. So you can say Sukha here means simply whatever is favorable. So favorable to the cow is Go Sukham, favorable to the horse is Ashwa Sukham. Rakshitam, which is protected for the cow, protected for the horse. That means it is reserved for the cow. So there is a particular place or maybe some food which is reserved, which is specially protected and which is not to be partaken by any other animals or beings, only for cow, only for horse. Rakshitam. Strangely enough, my question here again is why doesn't the tradition raise the question of Samarthya in this case? because the same question appears to be vexing here. Kuberaya balihi, Kuberaya dattaha balihi, ya Kuberaya diyamanaha balihi, Brahmanarthaya bahuhu, Brahmanartha Vidyamanaya bahuhu, something like that. But this question is not raised here. Perhaps I didn't find similar question raised also in Siddhanta Kaumudi. Well, I have been talking all this while, and it's almost 6 o'clock. So don't you have any observation to make? At least on this question which I am raising right now. This question of Samarthya raised in case of Tritiya, but we don't find the same question here. Maybe any other solution here. Hita is okay. Hita, there is a direct Samarthya. Rakshita direct Samarthya. But what about Bali, Sukha, Artha? Do we find any Samarthya here? Direct Samarthya, and this question is irrelevant? Or maybe some other explanation? Would you like to offer any?
I think if we see this Samarthya, they try to establish either through some action or then the Sambandha. Now, in this case, it seems that the attempt is to establish a Samarthya only through action, and not through Sambandha, so to say. So I don't know whether it is possible to kind of have this Upakarya Upakaraka Sambandha or something like this between Dadhi and Odana and or Guda Dhana, Guda and Dhana, etc. So that way, if we establish Upakarya Upakaraka, the compound could be probably established, but then I don't know, but then probably we'll have to put them in the category of the Shashti Samasa, not under Tritiya. So yeah, I think it would be interesting. In fact, after Chaturthi, if we can actually take a break and also read a parallel portion in the Chandra, because he has a kind of a slightly different take on some of these issues. So and then again come back to Panini for the next thing, next type of Tatpurush Samasas. So I mean, you can just think about it. It's just a suggestion, because I think he is phrasing these issues differently, and he's kind of also dealing with this. Some of the point like this Tatkruta, in the case of Tritiya Tatkritarthena Gunavachanena. Yeah. Maybe if others have to say something.
If you don't disagree with me, at least show your agreement. I tried to explain two at least different kinds of Samarthya. One Samarthya is direct with the action, and the other Samarthya is between two Subandhas. And obviously, Mahesh, as you say, it is there is always they talk of some kind of a relation, like Upakari, Upakaraka, Bhava, Karya, Karana, Bhava, etc. etc. So they always are there, and Naiyayikas take great delight in showing the Sambandhas first. But it is of course there. Even Vaiyakaranas accept these Sambandhas, though they do not speak always explicitly about them. They don't have a very strong liking for this Sambandhas. They do accept. So once we accept Sambandha, we don't need to discuss this issue of Samarthya through Kriya. As they say, Vrittau Kriyayaha Nirdesha, that's it. But my problem is actually at some cases they raise this problem, at some other cases they don't raise. And then only in such cases, they are all common, they should treat them on par. Or
Yes.
maybe it is understood here also. Might be the authors of Kashika, they might be feeling that you should explain this Chaturthi Samasa also the same way as we did it in case of Tritiya. So Vrutta Kuberaya Balihi, Kuberaya Dattaha Balihi.
Yes.
Might be so. Now, as far as the Uttarapada is Ktant or some participle, some Krudant, it is okay. But if it is a Subanta, then only such question arises. But even after, the question arises, the only solution is Samartha Padavidhi. Samartha is the condition. And if that condition is fulfilled, what will you do with these Tadditas? Samarthanam Prathamadva Tasya Apatyam. There is a Vakya. And they will say, oh, there is Janya Janaka Bhava.
Yes.
Everywhere some kind of Bhava will be there, of course. They say Ekashatam or Sahasram Sambandhaha, Nayayikas. There are millions and millions of Sambandhas in this world, they say. Yes, and they are there, yes. They do exist.
Yes.
Mm.
I think lots of these things, I mean, these associations are ultimately established, in certain cultural context. So, I mean, for Taddita or even for Samasa for that matter, I think that particular linguistic culture, I mean, what goes with what, probably the Dhyodhana will not make sense to someone, I mean, where in a culture where this kind of habits are not there. I mean, the food habits are not there. So, I mean, these are kind of first culturally these kind of sambandhas are established, and then we somehow try to fit them, linguistically. I mean, in terms of grammar now, like this Upasikta and so on, we try to kind of just bring in some actions or some kind of sambandha to explain this. So, I mean, the Samarthya ultimately should be something which is, in a way, in the simple term, which is simply related, right? Somehow, I mean, either through action or through such kind of cultural associations. Yeah, I mean, so we'll have to really understand the Samarthya in a very broad sense in this case. Yeah, I agree. As you said.
Okay. Okay, then let's move further. Panchami. Panchami bhayena. सुप्सुपायि इति वर्तते. तस्य विशेषणम् एतत् पंचमी. पंचम्यन्तं सुबन्तं भये शब्देन सुबन्तेन सह समस्यते विभाषा तत्पुरुषश्च समासो भवति. वृकेभ्य भयं, वृकभयं, चौरभयं, दस्युभयं. I think all this doesn't need any explanation. It simply means that a word in ablative is compounded with the word bhaya, basically. Panchami bhayena. If we take bhaya as a swarupa grahana, meaning fear. But then further, okay, we will read it further later on. So we have a compound like vrukebhyaha bhayam, vrukabhayam, fear from the wolf. Dasyubhyaha bhayam, chorebhyaha bhayam, fear from the thief, fear from the bandit or robber or whatever. So it's a very, kind of a common samas. Chorabhayam, Rukabhayam, Dasibhayam. And then the Vartika says Bhaya, Bhita, Bhiti, Bhi, iti Vaktavya. So add all these words which convey Bhaya. Bhaya, Bhita, Bhiti, and Bhi. And thus we have Vrukebhyo Bhitaha Vrukabhitaha, then Vrukebhyaha Bhitihi Vrukabhitihi, Vrukebhyaha Bhihi means the same as here. Purvasyeva ayam bahula grahanasya prapanchaha. तथा च ग्राम निर्गतः अधर्म जुगुप्सुः इत्येवमादि सिद्धं भवति. I really don't understand why that bahula grahana is carried forward here. Purvasyeva ayam bahula grahanasya prapancha. This is, pallavita by commentators. It is their own, imposition of their own views on Panini. Panini, whosoever the Sutrakar is. Now I have come to this conclusion finally. So Purva refers to Kartrukarane Krita Bahula. So this is a further explanation by giving examples of Kartrukarane. But here we don't have Kruta. So Bahula Grahana is there, of course. So Panchami Bahulam should be the rule actually, as understood by this commentary. Purvasyeva ayam prapancha. Panchami Bahulam. Panchami samasyate kenapi subhantena kvachit samasyate kvachit na samasyate. And then sometimes it is compounded also with a Krudanta, sometimes with a Subanta. And thus we have an example as they give Grama Nirgataha, Gramat Nirgataha. That means one who has gone out of the village, one who has departed from the village. And which is the other one? Adharma Jugupsu. One who is abhorred to adharma, immoral conduct. One who is averse to unrighteousness, something like adharmat jugupsu, adharma jugupsu, gramat nirgataha, grama nirgataha. Both these compounds, the Panchami is legitimate. It can be explained as a Paninian Panchami, and therefore they can be examples of the further extension of this compound. So here Bahula Grahana means beyond the word Bhaya or beyond the expressions Bhaya, Bhita, Bhiti, etc. Even with other words, Panchami is compounded. Grama Nirgataha. And again, as I say, there are thousands of other compounds with Panchami which we find in Sanskrit literature. Apeta Podha, Mukta, Patita, Apatrastaihi, Alpashaha. Apeta, Apodha.
Just one question here regarding the phrasing of the Vartika. I mean, now why he simply doesn't say, as Panini many times have also used the expression. I mean, simply like, the Vartikara could have also said Bhayarthena iti Vaktavyam. I mean, simply instead of giving the whole list.
That actually I wanted to make that comment that the word Bhaya is not to be understood as Swarupa. Once we understand the word Bhaya as Bhayarthaka, then the Vartika is not needed. I don't know. We have to check Mahabhashya, perhaps maybe Bhashyakara has given similar form. Somebody please check it. Or otherwise I will check it afterwards. Yes, what you say is quite right. And maybe Pandini has something like that in his mind when he said Bhayana. As he says Kalaha, here he says Bhayana. So Panini does not always stick to his own rule, Samrupam Shabdasya Shabdasya. It's quite clear. So in this rule 38, again he gives a list of some words with which Panchamyanta is compounded. And they are Apeta, Apoda, Mukta, Patita and Apatras. So here Apeta is that which is gone away, departed or deviated. Sukha Petaha. deviated from sukha, gone away from sukha, happiness. Apodha, kalpana podha. I have failed to understand the real meaning of this word. Kalpana podha, carried away or removed from the idea, kalpana. Kalpana podha. What could be the context of this word? I really don't understand the proper meaning of this word, kalpana podha. And no explanation is found also in the commentaries. But I got stuck up with this word kalpana. Kalpana has a very special meaning, at least in our mind. It's a concept or idea. So somebody is carried away from an idea, from imagining something. Carried
I
away
think,
by some imagination.
I think this particular expression is also used in certain Buddhist texts.
Abhidharma Kosh.
Yes, and here coming kalpana apodha means one who is away from imagining. That means one who is basically having a yathartha jnana. I mean, there is no imagination involved, so there are no vikalpas involved. So this is something like a direct understanding, direct knowledge. One who has direct knowledge of things without any intervention of kalpana. So he has gone away from kalpana. That means he has disassociated himself from imagining, and he is having a direct yathartha jnana, yathabhuta jnana.
Oh, good. So the word already exists in Buddhist literature.
Yes, it is used in a Buddhist
न्यायबिंदू
Buddhist text.
टीकामध्ये पण आहे.
Yes, I mean many of the Buddhist I mean texts, logic texts, Buddhist epistemological texts, and I think it also might be there in the other systems. We'll have to check. Yeah, but that's basically the meaning.
Okay, so that means it's a well-known word, kalpana podha. And perhaps that might be the reason why the commentaries do not deal with it. Yes. Good, thank you. So, very good, and very good meaning also, kalpana podha.
Yes, that the kalpana rahita.
Kalpana rahita.
Yes.
So who has gone far away from kalpana, from imagination?
Yes. Pratyaksha.
So he is believing only in reality, in truth.
Yeah, this occurs basically in the definition of pratyaksha jnana. So the pratyaksha jnana is something which is kalpana podha. So it is something which is directly perceived without I mean, and free from any mental what do you say yeah, from any kind of mental imagining, yeah, mental fabrication. Yeah.
Oh, good. Then it's a very nice word, I should say. Okay, so similarly, this chakramukta also, it literally it could mean one who is freed from the cycle. So does it mean cycle of rebirth or something then in Buddhism? Chakramukta. Do you have it in Buddhist literature? Chakramukta. Well,
yeah,
actually,
I mean, no, I think we don't have really chakra.
Rebirth is more in context, isn't it? Hinduism.
Yeah.
What else could it mean? Chakramukta. Freed from the cycle.
Yeah, it is a cycle. Yes.
Cycle of maybe rebirth or something.
Yes.
Chakramukta. That also we'll have to check. Well, so far I haven't come across, and nor do these commentaries help us in this regard. Anyway, so the next one is Patita, very simple. Swarga Patita, Swargat Patita, fallen from the Shene Punye Martya Lokam Vishanti. So Shene Punye Swarga Patita. Apatrastaha, Taranga Apatrastaha. Apatrasta is feared, scared, apprehended. So scared of waves. Apatrastaha. Alpashaha iti samasasya alpavishayatam achashti. It's a very strange expression. Alpashaha. Alpashaha means exactly opposite of bahulam. So it means in very few forms this compound is found. Alpashaha. They are compounded in a very less quantity, less degree. And I checked in the word index of Ashtadhyayi and I found that this is the only occasion throughout the Ashtadhyayi where this word Alpasha makes its appearance. And that also again in Samasa section. So there is again yet another additional reason why we should not take this as to be non-Paninian. Alpasha. In very few cases. Yes. That means the samasa is not a very general kind of samasa, not liberally used. Alpa panchami samasya. Na sarva panchami samasya. So, prasadat patitaha, bhujanad apatrastaha, ityevam adav na bhavati. So, even when we have these uttara padas like apeta, patita, apatrasta, etc., we don't find panchami in case of words like prasada and bhujana. Bhujanad apatrasta, you can be, I don't know, bhujanad apatrasta. If the bhojana is not tasty, then yes. Ityevam adav na bhavati. Kartrukarane krita bahulam ityasyeva ayam prapanchaha. So again, prapancha is continuing everywhere. So do we still have time? No, I think it's almost 6:30.
Yes, I think it's a good point. We can stop here. We have finished up to Panchami Tatpurusha. And yeah,
So, yeah, you know, I'm
probably
fed up of talking alone. This monologue I'm tired of. Unless there is some kind of interaction, then there is fun.
yes. So yeah, I think so. There'll be more opportunities probably when we also come and discuss with the response in a way, or how the Chandra system phrases it. So many of the suggestions again, which are already indicated here, are in fact incorporated there. We'll see it later. So yeah, I mean with the Bahulam matter, I mean he itself raises the rule as Karakam Bahulam. I mean it starts with that, in fact. So seeing that this kind of treatment would be in a way difficult, and the indications are already there in the Paninian tradition itself. So yeah, I think let's see this next time when we read the Chandra part. Yes, I think, but for today probably we can stop here at this point. It's already 6:30. So if there are any comments, please feel free to make it. Otherwise, we can stop here for today, and we'll continue on Monday.
सर
Yes.
ते लिंक पाठवायची ना आपल्याला.
Sorry.
लिंक पाठवायची होती.
कशाची?
ते अतुल देणार आहे. CI ना.
That will announce on Monday once it is ready.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So are there any other comments or? Okay, if not, then maybe we can stop here for today, and we'll continue on Monday with the remaining 2 Tatpurushas. Sorry, just one now, only Saptami Tatpurusha for this particular portion. And yeah, and then we can move to the Chandra rule. So have a nice weekend then to everybody. Let's stop here and let's thank Professor Bhate for the talk. So I wish you all the very, very best weekend. So thank you. Let us stop here for today. Bye-bye to everybody.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir. Thank you, madam.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.